Welcome to the next episode of Discipline, Desire, and Dedication. My name is Dakota Lying.
Lying. You don't even know who he is.
Along with my co-host, Mr. Garrett Cotton.
That's
Episode
right.
number 21. So, and we got Mr. Mason Evans with us. So, welcome, Mason. Glad to have you on, bro.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Yeah,
Appreciate
so,
you guys inviting me.
Yeah, for sure. How was your trip?
Trip was good. Trip was quick and easy. Had a little jet lag.
Yeah.
But other than that,
What time did you fly to Baton Rouge?
12.
12.
I'm back tomorrow morning, 5.
5 a.m.?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Quick and easy trip.
Quick and easy trip. I had actually COVID on Monday. So that's why I sound a little groggy.
Uh-huh.
But that lasted for about 3 days, so I'm just getting over it. So
Mm-hmm.
jet lag added in. But yeah, got over that, and then we're back rolling.
Heck yeah.
Perfect, bro.
So I'm going to steal Dakota's pitch a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how old you are, where you came from, what you're doing now, all the good juicy stuff,
Yeah, so 26, that'll be 27 next month in September. From Baton Rouge or Central Louisiana, still live in Central Louisiana. And I am, a young entrepreneur slash operator, sales guy, and I'm trying to pave the way for myself and then all my kin to come after me.
Yep.
So.
That's awesome. And then, so with the company you're working with right now, CAS. So tell us a little bit about what kind of business that is.
Yeah, so we're a full service roofing and metal company. So anything shingles and metal we provide. And then that's really, I would say, on 30% of what we do, because that's, there's only a few different ways you can nail a shingle roof or put some metal up. That it's all the same way, at the end of the day. But the other percentage of what we do is truly working with the insurance company. We, identify damage, actually make that correlation to what an insurance company how they would look at it. We chalk it up, do the whole photo report and do basically A to Z advising that homeowner through that claim to get them the best approval rating or I guess chance for approval, and us being the guys that helps them get that better chance.
Yeah. With roofing, is it more of an upgrade or is it just like a like-for-like replacement usually whenever they do the roofs?
So whenever insurance companies come out, they only pay for what's on the roof.
Okay.
So whatever's on the roof, if you have a 3-tab shingle, they're going to pay for 3-tab. If you have copper on your roof, they're going to pay for your copper. So.
Okay. So they'll match. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so typically dealing with insurance. So with me and what Dakota do, we don't deal with insurances ever. So is it a cost to the homeowner every time, or is there ever a time where you can kind of get an insurance claim and it covers the whole roof, or how's that work?
Yeah. So all it is you sign that policy up with whatever insurance company you go with. That is a policy/contract that you have between them. They set your deductibles, your coverages, and things like that. There's different coverages and different deductibles.
Yeah.
But that's how they put your premiums in place.
Okay.
So that is actually what directly influences your premium amount, just like your car insurance. You ask for $2,000 deductibles, you're going to be paying a good bit less than a guy that has $0 deductibles.
So in order for y'all to get paid, y'all are getting paid from the insurance company?
Technically, yes, but everything goes to the homeowner. There is a direction of payment.
Oh, so they almost have to approve jobs complete, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to send them the actual hard copies, paperwork, and things like that match up to what they're paying and what we're doing the job for. So
that's awesome.
So, how old are you again, Mason?
26.
26. So, graduated from Central High School.
Yep.
Right there in Louisiana.
Yep.
When you came out of high school, what year was that you graduated?
2016.
2016. Okay. So, we graduated 2015.
Yep.
So, you graduate high school. Where's your direction?
So, graduating 2016, so 2014, I really had just, one of those epiphanies that everybody has, kind of like, or most people, what they want to do. I was good with a pencil and paper and drawing. I was in gifted art, whatever, and I really wanted to be an architect.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna be an artist. I was like, oh,
No,
interesting. Coming
no.
from Central.
I really just wanted to be an architect.
Yeah.
I kind of fell in love with the way houses are built, different types of creativity that people can bring to the table with one blank canvas. I was just I was that guy. I was like, I'm gonna be an architect, and then instantly out of high school and a little bit prior, before I graduated, because I actually started my first job in high school, figured out I'm not going to school for 8 years to be an architect. I'm not taking out college loans. I've had examples in front of me where, and of course here, just by word of mouth about everybody's success stories, people who do and don't go to college, and I would say 80 to 90% of people that go to college don't use their degrees for what they're doing. So, I was also the guy where I have ADHD, so me even risking that, investment factor to go and do something that I
might not finish.
definitely not going to finish.
Yeah.
So,
Did you go to college?
I actually went for one semester at BRCC.
Okay. Yeah.
But so after that, I actually just I have 3 brothers, and hanging out with my older brother. He's my first best friend ever. Just hanging out with friends and things like that, being the guy I am, just making connections. He actually worked at State Farm, and recruited me onto the team just as a cold caller.
Mm-hmm.
I was 18. No, actually, I was 17 at the time. Recruited me in September, the month that I turned 18, and then I was in there calling people out of a phone book, looking for people who needed auto quotes.
Out of a phone book?
Out of a phone book.
My God, huh, dude?
And dude, and it was at State Farm.
You're calling landlines?
Calling landlines.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, they literally gave me a phone book, and I said, okay. I was just that guy that was naive,
willing,
and especially whenever I was, young and super, super hungry. That was one of those things. I was, I have an outgoing personality. I say that humbly, because there's a lot of, different crazy ways and different personalities. But I had an outgoing personality where I was like, give me a challenge, I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
So they just put me to work, and I remember my first cold call, and it was to Derek Guidry is his name. He's from Holden. He's actually the guy I got, this in that competition that we'll get to in just a second. But he put me on the phone, and I'm telling you, it was like, one of the most embarrassing things I've ever done.
Oh yeah.
I completely froze, act like I didn't. You really seemed like I didn't know how to talk.
Yeah. Been doing it for 18 years by this point.
Yeah, exactly. And that was just that was my first sales call ever, and botched it. Actually, I think it was so awkward, the phone just hung up, and everybody in the office just laughed at me. You know? And just because I was taking it super serious, I was extremely nervous, and that rolled on to my second, third, and then I was making 100 calls a day on a dial, just a dialer, click to dial, and what I would do, I didn't have my license to sell insurance for property and casualty or life or health, nothing. So I was just the set up the warm lead, handed over the guys that were licensed.
You're the gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper. I did that for 2.5 years.
Two and a half years you cold called.
Straight. 2.5 years.
So
And so on top of that, so I graduated, so I turned 18 in that September, and then I graduated from Central in 2016 in that May after. So I'd been working at State Farm for that long. So we had A and B days. I'd get off at 9:30 one day, 10:15 the other day. So
at night?
No, from high school.
Okay.
So I would leave from high school and go straight to the office, and the State Farm office, and cold call.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, because as far as like our appointment setters through performance windows, we have 2 hours after the morning meeting and then 3 hours in the evening. What was your schedule as far as, was it like a minimum of 100 dials a day, or like 100 conversations minutes, or was it just like, hey man, here's a phone book, get to ringing?
No, it was a quota for the day. So I remember it was like 1 through 5 quotes were like $15 a piece. Or it might have been $10 a piece, whatever. Lauren Meyer, State Farm is who I worked for. She's awesome. But 1 through 5 was like $10 a piece. If I got to 6, so 6 through 10, then they bumped up to $15 a piece. And then if I got to 20, over 20, then there were $20 a piece. So 20 times 20, I'm getting that extra per that day.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get my 20 every day.
Right.
And there's days I'm finishing 12, 8, 18, hitting 23. So it was just every day. That was just the quota. It wasn't so much of just the calls, because anybody who can procrastinate and try and cut corners and things like that can sit there and make 100 calls.
Right.
And nobody answered.
Yeah, we call that doom knocking.
Yeah.
Just going out there and you're just a robot. You have no intent in what you're doing. You're just
And
going
everybody
through
knows
the
what you're doing.
motions. Right.
And there were days, me growing up, because as all of us are young and growing up and figuring out who we are, we do cut corners.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody cuts corners.
Trying to be efficient. but-
Absolutely. Trying to act like you're still the straight line guy, trying to just get work every day that, because you want people to look up to you. So
Yep.
you don't never want to have that off day, especially just while you're growing up. You really don't understand it as much, and that just comes with maturing. But, there were some days I did that too, but other days, all it was is, I like the reference because we said it with the football team whenever I was on there, and then at the football team I'm on now, we just said it last week for the first time. You were cashing checks. I'm cashing mental checks into my mental knowledge every day that I don't even know I'm cashing. And then, man, I'm just going down the road from that, doing that every day, just trying to be the guy. We're having a great time at the office too. We got competitions going on. We got
Incentives.
And man, it was tough. I mean, there's a lot of mental battles. I had a lot of distractions. I was playing music, going out, doing, everything else but working whenever I wasn't working.
Yeah.
So that had, a huge toll, even more than trying to progress how I wanted to progress in my career wise. And then, so after 2.5 years of doing that straight, I went to get my property and casualty license, got licensed. So now I can make commission on
On the sets.
I can quote people, I can do the whole thing now. Did that for a year, and then I got my life and health license. Then I could sell life and health policies and all that other stuff. And, distractions got the best of me.
Yep.
Kept going down the line, and it was a 9 to 5 at the end of the day too, which was a good job in my mind coming up. I was happy to be there.
Paying the bills.
Paying the bills. Really just get me just enough to pay pay the bills and have a little extra to have a good time. But it just got to the point where, man, I was probably like 3.5, so 4 years in, I had both my licenses. That last year, I was going to State Farm in the mornings, and then I was working at Izzo's.
Oh, burrito.
Legal burrito at night.
Hustle.
Yeah.
And then, not a lot of people know this, but doing Izzo's, even got to the point where I was driving for Lyft as well, doing Lyft around town as well. I was just trying to make it out. I was the kid that said, I'm going to move out my parents' house. I was ready to be on my own, ready to be independent, and it's a lot bigger shoes I had to fill than what I actually thought. So that really built the independent character of just me and being responsible for my actions. Bridging those things. So there was times where I was working at State Farm, I worked at Izzo's, I worked at Stabs at the same time in Central, fine dining, and then it got to the point where I had been doing that so much. I had all this experience. I was kind of maturing more and more, getting more serious about it. They had an agent aspirant program that was just, it was kind of far-fetched for me, just with the office environment, air conditioning, staring at this computer screen all day.
Yeah.
It's just a draining aspect of it. So I had two of my great friends still. They had started a wholesaling business. And if I used to post videos live, like 3 hours long, on Facebook of me doing cold calls
Really?
to home sellers, and on vacant lists, water bill cancellations and stuff like that. We were
You
in
tried to
Baton.
get in that too, didn't you?
Yep. Yep.
He tried
we
to
did.
recruit me to it.
Yep. We did. It was actually, it was with, it was me, Timmy Shell, and a dude named Jesse Johnson. Yeah, and I actually tried to recruit Jesse Johnson to Performance, but
Really?
he ghosted.
Yeah.
But keep going with your wholesaling, because I have a pretty cool experience with that, especially like we did the whole thing ass backwards.
I remember. We were in the same office together, and I remember you pulling those lists.
Those vacant lists and stuff like that. Yeah, so, but whenever we did it a little bit more, the thing is the reason that we failed is because we got the list, right? We knew we had a cold call, but the problem is we had all this information, but the thing that we didn't have is we didn't have any buyers. We could get all these people to commit to selling, but we didn't know nobody with no money. What I mean? So we were fighting up
Little people.
Yeah, it was just
Figuring it out.
an endless battle. So you go into wholesaling, kind of, and for people that don't know, wholesaling is they go in, they find a distressed property ultimately. Majority of the time, in a sense, and they come in and they're pretty much a middleman just for somebody else to take over the property. To where they get their commission in the middle. So,
and some most of the time it's frowned upon because people think that you are trying to undercut that seller and take some of their profits, but really you have to look at it as a standpoint. If they wanted to call a realtor and sell their property, they most likely could have easily done that. Number one. And then number two, you found that seller, whether they have liens on the house that really they're not getting a penny, no matter what they do. It's owned between siblings or whatever it is. You're just being the actual vehicle to get them to sell that property and get that problem off their plate, especially if, the house is overgrown. It's got multiple issues that an investor is going to have to come in and invest for a property to even be listed for any sort of profit that somebody would think that they have in their property.
now he's fixing your problems.
Yeah, that's right. And there's a lot of people on social media going around, I could think of 10 of them in my head right now where they're like, we'll show you how to flip paper. All you got to do is get this contract signed, flip it, this and that.
No.
And it is that easy, I guess, if you have the path to the client in a clear, crystal clear way to get to the client, because that's really what everything that we do is like. What is our path to the client? Show me your blueprint of how you find every single one of your clients, and then there's going to be different paths, but those guys have it figured out. They're doing things differently in their own special way, which is the epitome of anybody's success. But figuring that out to actually think and have the integrity of the service always makes anything turn to good. Rather than, I just got Miss Jan under contract for $50,000 on her property that's worth $160,000. And I just made $110,000 because or a little bit less because of the closing cost. Then whenever you're boasting about something negative and that, like, you reap what you sow, you're not a good person,
right?
But at the end of the day, if you give kind of what's owed and you kind of just make a connection, some people, once the whole story as a service, all you did was do your service, then that's where you turn it to good. Where you're actually trying to truly help somebody. And then the more you master your craft, people pay for knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
People pay for experience. People pay for
Professionals.
Yeah.
We preach it all the time. You can go out there and you can go through the motions, but at the end of the day, people want to do business with professionals. They don't want to do business with their friends. They want to do business with professionals. So
price never matters.
Yeah.
That's all the
that
kind of stuff. Like we trust in our products. We trust in our business. We trust in our installers. All the above.
Trust in ourselves.
Yeah.
value ourselves,
Well,
you know. Well, but going through like with the wholesaling, so you start this wholesaling gig, right? And how old are you at this time?
21, 22.
21,
Going on 22.
going on 22. So you start this whole
4 years ago.
okay, you start the wholesale selling gig. What happens?
So, like I said, two of my great friends still, we're making 150 calls a day on the dollar. I'd already done it, you know.
With insurance.
Yes, with State Farm. My, you know, my path has been set for me.
Right.
You know, my plan was already set. And, you know, God willing, He put both these guys in my life. I actually got saved, you know, that's August 2019. So that was kind of like in between just knowing these guys. And then once I actually made the jump to them, like that was a big influential thing with the team that I was brought into to branch from State Farm. That's why I had so much confidence to do the things that I did. And because the knowledge and the experience made me comfortable off the bat, but it's more the team of, you know, warriors that I was walking into that made me 300 times more confident and excited about the journey that I was just about to embark on, because nobody likes to reset. But we had embarked on that. You know, I was overweight. I got in a bunch of just really, really good shape. Met some other friends that are going to be my friends for forever. But we were, you know, 6:30, 7 o'clock at the conference table, doing our KPIs, going around, and then hitting the stand-up desk and calling. We were actually calling people in Philadelphia. So we weren't even calling people in Baton Rouge. They had lived in Philadelphia for 10 years, as two brothers. And then they moved back to Baton Rouge because that's where they're from. And then, you know, it was just us setting up deals.
Mm-hmm. Y'all had a script, I'm assuming, right?
We had a script, yes. Yeah. It was called Offer Right. Kyle Johns, Josh Johns, great guys. That'll be in my life forever. But, you know, that was the true turning point of branching away from my 9 to 5 to I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I am control of whatever's going on right now. And those were, in a sense, my mentors, you know. You cannot start anything brand new if you have no experience, if you don't have good mentors. That's one thing that, you know, everybody has the tease of how somebody's getting stuff done and wow, it looks awesome. Like, but you will never ever get to where you think that you're going to go unless you have like good brothers or just good members around you and a good staff. And I don't even like using the word staff, but just good, reliable warriors around you that you know you can count on no matter what to show up and be kind of like a clone of you, but just in their own personalities that bring their own tools to the table. So that's what Kyle and Josh were for me, and Brian was another guy that worked with us, and it was just constant dry erase board, wrecking calls, and seeing who we could close.
Yeah.
You know, Wolf of Wall Street style.
Literally.
Boiler
Hustling.
room.
But everybody in that room has to have the same vision. You
Oh, yeah.
know, if one person's not bought in, it decreases productivity of everybody. But
yes.
the culture is so important, and we've learned that in our industry as well, is that you got to be quick to fire. Like if there's somebody that comes in that just doesn't meet our standard, nothing against them. They might be a great person, but they just don't see what we see.
That's right.
And they slow us down. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Have you experienced that in even with CAS now? Have you had any situations of people slowing you down?
Well, hold on. Before you get into CAS, guys, I love this story on the CAS.
Okay.
Yeah, but so you go through. You're with the wholesaling gig. How long do you do that?
I do that for nearly 2 years. So this is right before like probably COVID hit, and then I did it for another 4 months from the house, 4 to 6 months from the house.
Okay.
Trying to close deal while COVID is hitting.
Okay.
And then during that time, I found out that I was having a baby, and then you know, I actually, so we did good stuff. But you know, there's a lot of deals that fall through on wholesale deals. There's liens that you don't see. A lot of people owe money on a lot of houses. That's why they're sitting there for
Years.
forever,
Yeah.
years. You know, liens stack up higher than the actual property value. So we'd be getting 20 deals a piece a month, but 80% of them fall through.
Yeah.
Or you're waiting on them for 6 months.
Yeah. Got to fill the pipeline though.
You got to go. Yeah, absolutely.
Keep it filled.
Absolutely. So it was great. But you know, I was a worker. You know, I was not an operator or anything like that.
Yeah.
Involving on just that side. So I took it as immense knowledge. I heard somebody say this just a long time ago, and I actually heard it not too long ago. That's why I'm thinking of it. But I'm here to learn, not earn.
Yeah.
Is the mindset that I had, that no matter what, because I knew that I didn't know anything. And I feel like that's a huge step for me that I've actually implemented in everywhere I go still. Just, I want to act like I don't know anything so I can try and get somebody's best of what they're throwing at me, because I'm probably going to hear something that maybe I've never thought of before.
I love that saying. I'm gonna use that. Yeah. I'm here to learn, not earn.
I'm here to learn, not earn, you know,
Yeah.
especially on your beginning years and coming up. Like it is, I think I saw, that's exactly where I saw it from. And you know, if somebody ever thought of the video and commented it, but it was actually a guy that ran just some type of large business. I don't even know what type of business it was, but it was his top sales guy that's been with him for the longest, all this other stuff. And he had like a garage full of all these foreign cars. And dude's like, you know, the sales guy super humble walking in. And it was him surprising the sales guy with a brand new car.
I saw this video. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said, since day one, I always told you, like, boss or, you know, whoever he was talking up to,
Yep.
that I'm here to earn and not learn. And, you know, you reap what you sow. I'm here to gain knowledge, because the knowledge is way more than any amount of paycheck that we're going to get up front. It's going to run thin, you know, not to mention all the controversies.
It's a great
we have with
example
money
though, because like
value today.
in any business, you know, it doesn't matter if it's like the marketing, like steel, or if it's something like with performance windows, or even the business that you're in. Like when I came in, I saw where people were making really good money. Mm-hmm. And for me, I just knew I had to get the promotion. I had to get promoted to be there.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like, keep the money. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even need the money. Just help me get to a closer. Help me get to that position that that I need to be in. And
Well, that's exactly the mindset that I feel like anybody coming up to be successful has to have. Mm-hmm. That is exactly what you have to have, because I am, man, somebody made a joke. I told somebody I was coming on a podcast. They're like, Joe Rogan in Austin, Texas. I'm like, I'm not ready for that.
one day.
One day, but I wouldn't accept that.
No, and yeah, you'd embarrass yourself.
I
I'd
would
get in there.
embarrass
I
myself.
wouldn't know what to talk about.
Why would I do that? You know,
Yeah.
so why would I try and even accept something that I know that I'm not prepared for? But so many people have a gigantic ego where they will throw themselves into the fire
Yep.
just based off, you know, just the ego, you know? And that's a big thing with today's generation, I feel like, because everybody's living through the mirror.
Vicariously, yeah.
Yeah, the mirror of their cell phone, thinking that they're just, you know, going to wake up one day and somebody's going to be tossing money and have cars outside.
Yeah.
But just switching back, just bringing it back to being as humble as possible. And, hey, like, I want to act like I don't know anything, you know, because I used to be the guy.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I
am doing this. I was doing that. You know.
Well, I used to be the guy that wanted to be life of the party. I used to be the guy that wanted to be this and that, and you know, where I was very misunderstood whenever I was doing stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, to where it was just like, oh, Mason's crazy ideas coming through, like, you know, trying to have high value conversations with low value people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then now I feel like I'm crazy.
Yep.
Now I'm, you know, in a dark type mindset where I have a tunnel vision of like, who am I?
Yeah.
You know?
You're only as valuable as the environment that surrounds you. You know?
Yeah, and absolutely. And just piggybacking off that, I actually made a list just on the plane ride here, thinking about, if I were to put 4 steps to a reset for anybody to do, number 1 is environmental detox.
Yeah. That's why we got the hell out.
Yeah.
we had to pluck ourselves.
Yeah.
So environmental detox, even physically, but really the main is mentally,
Yeah.
to where you are eliminating distractions. You are identifying and then eliminating distractions.
Yeah.
You are, it doesn't matter what household you grow up in, whether, you have 1 parent, 2 parents, if whatever is going on that you're feeling sorry for yourself, there's somebody out there that's 100 times worse, and you're either making excuses, you think that you're too good for it, or whatever it is. You have to detox the environment, whether it's eating better food, not eating as much of the garbage that they feed us nowadays,
Yeah.
getting right with your soul and the Lord, and actually just detoxing all the bad things that make you not who you are and make you lost and make you confused.
One of my biggest sayings that I always say is you have to become the person that you want to be led by. Does that make sense? You know, because at the end of the day, I mean, if I'm not living, if I'm watching porn every night, if I'm cheating on my girlfriend, if I'm never showing up to work, if I'm eating junk food every time nobody's around, like if I'm doing all that stuff, that's the true character of who I am.
That's right. What you're doing whenever nobody's watching.
Integrity.
That's it.
That's your integrity.
Yeah.
But exactly that. How can I be the man that I want to follow? Like, the Matthew McConaughey thing, my hero is me in 10 years.
That's it. Yeah.
So having that mindset, especially, me having my 3-year-old has changed the world for me, because that was a bigger than me moment that everybody needs to have, whether you have a kid or not. You can have a bigger than me moment, but you need to actually find value and make it, whether it's just your significant other,
Your purpose.
whether it's your parents, whether it's your brother that you want to help out, whether it's like you have to find something that you truly want to fight for, and then you have to get pissed off about it, and then you have to actually just put it to work. You got to execute. So I actually just want to look over this real quick. It's right here. But so environmental detox, and then I just said it. So number 2 is get familiar with your purpose.
Yep.
Get familiar with what is fueling you every single day, and why everybody thinks you're an asshole.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like Kobe mentality. Kobe was the worst teammate because he just wanted to win so bad. It's like nobody. People call him selfish and like conceited, but he wasn't. He was just passionate about his success. He wanted to be the best, and you have to be that. It doesn't matter if we're not playing basketball, but what we're doing, we still got to have that same mentality.
Absolutely.
Obsession with winning.
Yeah, obsession with winning, and just finding that niche that really just is that interior switch for you of anything, like how y'all uprooted and moved thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
That's like, that was your environmental detox, and then now you already had your purpose agenda on the board. You just had to put it in play.
Yeah, and there was no option of going back. So it was either figure it out or figure something else out.
Be homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so number 3 is get creative and be different.
Yep.
If you cannot get creative and you cannot analyze your market and see what they're doing with their marketing, or how they're doing things, what's in their contract, what's in their stuff, what are their customers not like that they're doing, how are they executing, are there things that they're leaving behind that maybe I can bring up and capitalize on. I have to get creative and I have to be different in order for me to excel, because me being in roofing, it's extremely competitive in Louisiana.
For sure.
I think there's like over 205 licensed roofing contractors.
Really?
And there's more growing.
I believe
I
it.
saw somebody post something last week, new roofing company.
And every hurricane, every storm, they flock in too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And exactly. But it's all about the guys that are consistent. It's all about the guys that can actually be an open book to what they're doing in their process. Let's see, into your playbook and see how you're structuring all your
the
estimates
operations
and your
yeah.
operations and all the things that you're actually doing for your customer.
Yeah.
Are you just trying to get lucky? Mm-hmm. Are you just trying to mimic somebody else that maybe you saw one day and you're just trying to be him?
I feel like if you don't take the steps that you just said, if you don't have the detox and get away from the distractions. What was your second one? The second one was
Purpose, find the purpose.
if you don't find the purpose, and then on to the third. If you by taking those steps, the people are chasing the get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
They don't take those steps.
Nope.
That it's impossible.
Well, it's not what would you say? It's not compatible for your career for the longevity of your career. You will be a here today, gone tomorrow. Whether we're talking about 2 years, 80% of businesses fail within 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. We're CAS is reaching as an operation that we've been doing is reaching over our 2-year mark right now.
Yeah.
Actually, no, we're in our 2.5. Sorry.
Yeah.
Time's been flying, but with that aspect of if you are mimicking somebody so much, because the land is already laid a lot in a lot of situations of business models and things that you can do and what you can choose that you want to take on as your purpose to build into your legacy, But if you can't find that the will to create your creativity, create your knowledge, create the learn and not earn mentality, man, especially the guys that have so much time. Everybody has so much time.
Yep.
That you just need to calm down. You need to take a step back. You need to do those things in that detox. You need to find some real warriors that can get in the room with you and, have some hard talk like we just talked about earlier before we came on here.
Yep.
That are very accepting to those things. And then just like they don't have to be a clone of you, but they just have to be on the same chapter every day.
Yep.
To where it is like what Andrew Tate says is too. You find 3 or 4 guys and you'll take over the world.
That's it. You can't do it alone.
You cannot do it alone.
And Elon Musk did not build Tesla by himself.
Yeah,
Bill
so-
Gates did not. They are not alone. All those people, they have an army, but it's because they find like-minded individuals and they come up with a plan and a vision and they pursue it.
That's right. Well, and that's truly the hardest part.
Finding that team,
Yeah.
building that
Who
team.
wants to go door knocking with me every day?
Exactly. That's usually the hardest part is finding that person.
And sifting through the people who say they will.
Even on that though, sales are sales. I say keep the pipeline full. Just
Yeah.
like you're keeping the pipeline full, making those calls, the quotas. For me and Dakota, we never stop talking about what we do.
No.
Yeah.
Anybody, like I've lost friends because every time they call me, I'm like, yeah, but when you coming up here? That's the end of the call every time. So they
It's like
stop
that
calling.
that awkward question they know that they don't want you to ask.
And it's
You're gonna
coming.
ask it
I'm
anyways.
going to ask it every time.
right.
But that's the persistence plus failure equals success. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's just a testament of how much you believe in what you're doing.
Yep.
Going over to how CAS we started as a company, so piggybacking off the journey of multiple jobs that I've had before, but my insurance knowledge and all those things. I went to a car dealership for like 7 to 8 months whenever I found out Beckham was coming, and then I made good money. I was a go-getter, all those things, just with hey, showing you a car. Really, car sales is super easy.
Yeah.
If we're talking about if we're actually
They're
really
showing
talking
up
about
because
it.
they want a car.
You're selling a tangible item.
Yeah. To somebody who's in the market.
I came from selling intangible items, which have a lot of value, both, but people like to see and touch things, and
right.
especially like to just buy it if they like it.
That's right.
You just have to present it correctly. So that was a thing where I went in and out, and that's we had spoke about a little earlier about the emotion of how in today's generation, a lot of emotion has adapted to the sales process. Because guys like the used car salesman that's selling them a roof, or the used car salesman that's selling them whatever. I don't want the used car salesman doing that, you know? And I get it, because I did see some nasty things in the car dealership. As, you know, there's stupid things that happen where, you know, it's all about the individual and how they treat, like we talked about earlier, the service, rather than I'm actually helping somebody out.
Yeah.
So you got to watch out for the sharks. You know, that's what you got to do. Sharks will not last, though.
Yeah.
You know, they last in a car dealership because that's an easy thing for somebody to go and put their sales thing on autopilot, because they don't have to try. You know, if you're going to go buy a car and you let them screw you over, they're going to do that, because those are just how some of those guys are. But that is like, that was the, I know y'all have heard it too, even while y'all are talking to people. I don't want the used car salesman type pitch.
Yeah.
I don't want, and you know, if you're still using that, then, you know, I'll see you at your next job in a year.
Right.
You know, post about it on Facebook, what you're doing. You know, I'll be rooting for you.
Yeah.
But just kind of regrouping, going back to where I came from the car dealership. Hurricane Ida hit. I had a friend, and he actually recruited me onto a roofing company in Baton Rouge, and just taught me the process of the insurance claim. I'd already worked at State Farm, you know.
You already knew insurance, yeah.
This was already like hey, God prepared me for this.
Right.
Yep.
This is the perfect thing for me. So I went in full force, door knocking, you know, trying to be the best, trying to listen, learn as much as possible, and I did. Things didn't work out. And that's whenever I got my real estate license, I started working with you, Dakota. And, you know, we're in the office. And that was a quick, about a year and a half, I would say. Almost 2 years at that first roofing company. And then I had switched over to real estate, because some things had just transpired. And I was like, screw this, I'm going to do real estate.
Yep.
I told y'all I want to be an architect. You know, I love houses, love the way they look, love different types. And I always will, but that was just one of those things where, like, perfect, let's go try this out. I've already restarted this many times.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You've had definitely a lot of experiences.
Yeah.
But they've all.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You know. So, hopped into real estate, did it for 6 months. I think I sold one house, 2 houses, and man, I was just, you know, I was down on E. I was, you know, just so many things happening in my life all at once, and it was just, man, I don't want to say I gave up, but I said, I'm not doing this anymore. With the help of the owner of CAS, actually, you know, him, just us keeping a connection, just a true, solid, honest bond between each other, where we had just clicked from the beginning, you know, and that was just, you know, we talked about business. We talked about things that made us seem like we were, you know, I'm talking to my potential ally, you know, my potential business partner. And then it was to the point where it was the whole 6 months I was working as a realtor, and man, I was like, he kept calling me over and over again. I'm like, man, I'm doing this. I got to make this work. I got these listings coming up. I got these buyers, you know, that I'm
going live on Facebook.
Yeah, going live on Facebook in front of neighborhoods and trying to make stuff happen. Meeting people on the weekend 2 hours away from my house that aren't even pre-qualified.
Yeah. Chasing the sale.
You know, just dude, I'm out just
Boomtown lead.
Boomtown lead. Just trying to get active on my career. And then it was actually on my birthday that I turned, you know, I think 24 or 23. I think it was 24. And he calls me. He's like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, why? Like, let's just come work with me. You know, come sell roofs with me. And I'm like, you know what? It was my birthday. I had like negative 1,300 in my account.
Yep.
He shows up at the office, at the real estate office, and he's like, come outside. Because he passes the office. He's like, yeah, I just passed your office. He's calling me like throughout these 6 months. Just passed your office. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm working. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And he shows up. He's like, I got you something. He's like, got his checkbook out. He's about to give me a check. He's like, what do you need? I'm like, because he got me to the point where I was like on the phone even before he showed up. I said, you know, man, this isn't working out. I'm negative on my account. My mortgage just draft out. I don't know what to do. Like, he's like, and so he clearly was in the area. That's why he called me. He went back around. I show up. He's like, how much you need? And he wrote me a check right there that got me back in the plus.
Yep.
And it was just, man, that it's not even just about the money.
Yeah.
You know, it was about that gesture of how much confidence that someone else had in me.
Yes. Investing in you.
Yeah. And whether it's time or money, because both is merely the same whenever you're working at a high velocity. But that simple gesture, man, I went home. He had cards made for me already.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
He knew you were coming.
Yeah. And, you know,
He knew you was broke as shit.
yeah. And really.
He said Mason ain't selling no deals.
No. Well, but really I was one of those guys where I was turning my wheels so much and I just never had the
Traction.
never had the motion. And I'm good intentions, trying to help everybody, trying to do my thing, trying to put everybody else's jersey on my back over and over and over again. That's truly what makes an irreplaceable, you know, employee, but also an irreplaceable ally that you could potentially add to your team to then, you know, evolve into something, into what you know, want to be one day. Because not everybody's on different levels, but so that was the thing. I went home. I actually created this logo, and we just throughout Central.
Let the people know what CAS stands for.
CAS, Customer Always Satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Roofing and advising. So we do all your roofing needs for shingles and metal, and then like I said, that's I would say 30-40% of what actually goes into roofing. Because clearly, you know, you can only nail shingles and do metal a certain way. But our main thing is we want to give you confidence whenever you are filing an insurance claim that somebody's not just telling you that you have damage. You file a claim and then all of a sudden you're declined. You don't know what to do. You got a claim on your record and things like that. We pride ourselves on our approval percentage. Mm-hmm. So our pre-inspections isn't just you know, somebody that just got into the roofing industry or just somebody that's just trying to use their policy to just throw it against the wall and get lucky.
Yep.
You know, like a lot of these guys do, and that's what actually ruins the reputation. So that's what our main thing is, why we take it a lot more serious than some of the other companies do. Most of the other companies do, because it truly is your policy. All I'm doing is walking you through it. It is your policy that you own, that you pay for. So that's the biggest thing that I get the most gratification from, because whenever insurance companies do operate in a you know, bad faith manner or unjust manner towards what is actual damage and not damage, because they have some other clauses, and deterioration and wear and tear all gets kind of misconstrued of what they do and don't want to pay for.
Yeah.
You know, we want to make sure that we have good, solid evidence to make this process easy on the front end, so we don't have to get a public adjuster or an appraiser or an attorney that's going to make your roof 3 times the cost for no reason.
Has there ever been a time with like competitor roofing companies where it's like poached a deal, like a potential deal or something?
Absolutely.
How does that work?
So somebody will come in and clearly, you know, might have seen our sign in the yard, something, you know.
So they'll still come and talk to them even with a yard?
Yeah, we've had that happen before. We shut it down, but just like I said in the beginning, having good, honest guys that are truly, you know, built like you and like you want them to build, and you know, sometimes in some areas they're built better than you.
Yeah.
that are honest and build that relationship that's unbeatable, we don't have to worry about things like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is true.
That is baseline.
That's like us too. If somebody wants to go with a different, if they want to cancel, look, you can be like 2 weeks out. We're like, sure. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to do business with it? Like, sure.
I do
you
the
can
exact same thing.
I'm not going to hold you and be like, well, there's a cancellation date. No.
No,
Like, we'll refund you your money right now. Like,
yeah, well, there's guys that they get contracts signed, and if they canceled with this roofing company because they just chose to go with somebody else, they're charging them a gigantic fee that they have to pay them,
Yeah.
and charging them that fee, and going into what everybody's probably going to think is like, why are insurance prices more than a cash quote?
Yeah.
And just like anything else, people get paid by the hour.
Mm-hmm.
So if I spend hours at your property with your adjuster, identifying damage, real damage, showing you our approval percentage, and letting you know and giving you examples of raging past clients that we have,
Yeah.
then you're to the point where like, okay, and I actually show you the evidence before we actually just file a claim. We don't knock on your door and just file the claim like I've heard people do.
I've heard of people be like, yeah, my ladder's in the truck. Let me jump up there and I'll show you.
Well, also, even better, never even been on the roof
Oh,
and file a claim.
I've
Just
never
had
heard
one of those last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Never didn't even go look.
Yeah, customer calls me. They're working with another roofing company. He's like, dude's never even been on my roof, but he just pitched me so much to where we filed a claim.
Mm-hmm.
I had done his son-in-law's roof.
Yeah.
So he pitched at the door, got the claim filed, and he calls me. He's like, claim's already filed, Mason. What do we do?
Yeah.
And we went out there, and I talked to the adjuster, and lo and behold, they had just enough hail damage to get everything done, which was great. But I already set that expectation up front with the homeowner.
Yeah.
Hey, like, this isn't, I can't promise you that I can get this done.
Yeah.
I'm not a magician. And it all depends on the cards that were dealt. You have a little bit of damage. It's not crazy, is exactly what I told him.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, we had a success story from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So that's a deal that ended up coming with CAS.
yeah, absolutely. Just scheduled him for September 5th.
Does it make it easier when a claim is already filed?
Yes, only if the roof meets the certain characteristics that it needs to line up. Because you have to think about it as well. Just like a reputation on the front end, we have a reputation on the back end with the insurance companies.
100%.
So in insurance, whoever the adjuster is, because 80% of them are independents, they're just getting hired to come out and look. They already have a list of guys that do sketchy stuff on the roof, do man damage to roofs, create damage.
Their reputations, the insurance company knows about them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
File claims that don't need to be filed.
Have y'all ever had bad situations with insurance yet?
No.
Not yet. Been solid so far.
No. So and that's the thing. We did have something with State Farm, one of the State Farm adjusters.
You didn't show him your leg. You'd be like, "Come on, man, bro, help out."
I actually did show
help a brother out.
I don't know if you can see that on camera. But some adjusters, especially some local guys, there's guys that are much harder just to work with in the same space as other guys.
Yeah.
Some guys work differently, and that's just the part where I said it's all about the cards that you were dealt.
Yeah.
So if you have a harder adjuster, you're going to just have to prove way more. That's why we make sure that no matter what adjuster that we have, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Just because you have a little bit of damage and we might get a good adjuster, I'm not going to file your claim.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's not CAS. That's not what we do.
It's you already know what the outcome's going to be.
That's right. Why would I want to set myself up to fail?
Yeah.
Just because I want to get lucky and get more roofs like other guys do.
Yeah, and it's also it's your word.
It's my word.
It's your word. If you go up there,
they'll never recommend me again.
right? Yeah, they'll never recommend you again if you go up there and you tell them they got all this damage and then insurance declines.
Yeah. Now you're a scrub.
Now you look like you look like you're out here trying to chase a check.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And people don't like that. They, like you said, the relationship is more important than that one quick sale that to take advantage of somebody. and it comes back. We preach it all the time: is believe in our system, believe in what we do. You know, I mean, we know that we got the best window installers in both of our areas. You know,
Well, and exactly what you said. Simple 15 seconds that you just spewed. You
Yep.
know, it's simple because then the next follow up is no more explanation.
you set the expectation.
I'm an open book. I'll show you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
You set the expectation.
there's no more and to where you have that confidence. Less is way more.
Oh yeah.
You know,
And-
because I don't need your sale. You know,
Yep.
I don't need somebody calling me. Like we do realtor repairs, stuff to help my realtors get to the closing table, and 90% of the time with my painting, any extra trades that we talk about, because I'm a roofing company, I have connections. And especially through the owner of CAS, especially because of him, I have those connections in place to come through where I'm just getting my guys paid.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not getting paid. That's my busy work.
Yep.
And also my connection building time that I have a situation going on right now where I'm trying to be superhero.
Right.
I'm not trying to make the money. I'm
Right.
just trying to be the superhero that, hey, Mason got this done, call Mason. So just, in the sense that I can replace a roof of a future client, because that's what we look for, replace the roof, but also work with the insurance and make sure everything is taken care of correctly. Yeah. Deductibles are taken. Nobody's overcharging 300% for a roof install of what it actually should be, adding bullcrap stuff on the actual estimate that they're sending to the insurance companies. You reap what you sow in every single thing that you do, the little things to the big things.
Yeah.
Some of those are huge things.
Yeah.
So, and some people just set themselves up.
I love it. I just love the saying, a man is only as good as his word, if you're going to commit to somebody, just fulfill your commitment. So,
Absolutely.
bro, interesting story. Very interesting story. What would you say, Kai? You never met Mason, huh?
No, this is the first time to meet him, but yeah, I can see where you've had your success.
Yeah.
Definitely got a good head on your shoulders, going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And the experiences that you've had, it all applies to who you are today. So
Yep.
I know that's just the beginning. Like even for me and Dakota, we talk about it. Like that's why we wanted to start a podcast, is because life just started.
Right.
Yeah.
We got a lot of growth.
Man, we could sit here and talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, that's it.
For real.
That's it. Well, cool deal, bro. Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome podcast, number 21.
Well, I want to say I respect the hell out of you guys and what y'all do.
Thank you.
Just implementing. I mean, y'all have a hard-nosed business plan, sales process, and y'all do the hardest thing that no salesperson wants to do. Y'all knock doors 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Non-stop.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that work.
Yeah.
You hear me?
That's-
And just from experience of what I've done, I'm fortunate because word of mouth is the best referral, like we talked about. But man, y'all absolutely get up and go get it every day, and that's what I aspire to be. That's why I'm here with you guys.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, we all have one thing in common, and that's just that we're obsessed with winning. So as long as we just keep winning every day, we'll be at the top.
That's right.
So
Keep cashing them checks every payday.
that's it. That's it.
Big time one day.
Well, hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Follow Mason Evans' Instagram. He got a CAS Facebook page as well and stuff, huh?
Yep. All we service really, from Jennings to Slidell, all the way down to New Orleans, even up to Alexandria, all that South Louisiana. You look us up, casroofer.com. Office number is 225-489-1410. We have a outstanding sales staff. We got 14 guys. We have in-house crew of 14 guys. Puts on every single one of our roofs. I'm not hiring anybody else. We don't subcontract ever. So those 14 guys. We got an awesome office guy, which is actually a brother of one of my top sales guys. He's a sales guy with me, and he busts his ass every day. Andrew Myrick, Pierce Patterson, Adrian Manrique, and then our project manager Gage Evans, and then Trent Myrick that's in the office. And then we got Al. I know he doesn't like to be in the spotlight, but man, he's the man behind the show. What's going on? everybody that is still here with us has made it, and everybody has that emotional connection to anything that they have to deal with you. So we got a great team. Y'all call in, we'll get out, get an inspection to you, and it'll really be a treat for you to meet any of those guys.
Awesome, bro. Well, it was a treat doing a podcast with you, man. Like I said, we appreciate having you on, and we'll catch you next time.
Yep.
All right, peace.